celebrated for upholding the ethos.
Emma, do you have anything to say about Enoch Burke? Nothing to say, Emma Pengelly?
Transgender ideology. No parent wants that for their child. God is not mocked. God is not mocked as you enter in there. God hates hypocrisy. I don't think God is impressed with the robes. He made them male and female. The Church of Ireland is imprisoning young teachers if they won't affirm transgenderism.
John, anything to say about the incarceration of Enoch Burke? Anything to say?
Was taken to prison where he is today. 377 days in Mountjoy Prison. And we're here today because Enoch Burke upheld the ethos of the Church of Ireland, male and female. When we draw attention to the ethos of the Church of Ireland, we have the police called. What a sad day, what a disgraceful.
Anything to say about the incarceration of Enoch Burke in Mountjoy Prison?
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of it particularly.
You're not aware?
I've been away in Camino, so apologies. I've been.
Well, it's been ongoing for 2 years now, and you're not aware. The whole country is aware.
Very, very sad when you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 police cars called. Very sad that instead of putting it right, instead of Archbishop McDowell putting it right, instead of all these religious leaders putting it right, getting this young, good, sincere, upright young man, Christian man out of prison and putting him back in his job, they called the police. And it's very sad to see Emma Pengelly seemingly unconcerned here today. That does concern me, that you can walk in here and not be concerned, and every other politician, it's just not acceptable, whether they're Alliance, Sinn Féin, SDLP, DUP, that's not the way it should be. No. That the politicians go in with silly smiles on their faces. It's just not acceptable. I would say to the Church of Ireland today, you should be ashamed of yourself, because you're not agreeing with God. You are not agreeing. You're flying in the face of God. It's very hypocritical to be going in here as if God is smiling on you when you're flying in the face of God.
You see here behind me, Wilson's Hospital School, Mr. Millian, the principal, flying the flag, flying the transgender flag outside a school that has an ethos of male and female.
Even Christian values, Christian truth. No.
Do you know my politics?
Oh yes, you're green, but what about also respecting Christian belief?
I respect all beliefs.
Is it the earth you worship, Áine?
You worship the earth.
Is it the earth you worship?
We all need to be vegans. No respect for Christian belief.
You worship.
I wonder, could we have a little less of hypocrisy, Dean, this morning? And could we have something to say about Enoch Burke?
Anything to say?
Would Enoch Burke be able to be addressed this morning in Belfast? Do we think the cloaks are going to get us through? Or will we have something to say about Enoch Burke, a man who has spent 377 days in Mountjoy Prison, not because he's a criminal, but because he upheld the ethos of your church this morning, a man who upheld the Christian teaching that you profess to believe. How sad this morning that we have hypocrisy from the Church of Ireland. How sad this morning that there's hypocrisy from the Church of Ireland. What a sad state we're in this morning in Northern Ireland, and indeed across this island, as we see the Church of Ireland engaged in gross hypocrisy.
Seen there some video footage from Belfast, St Anne's Cathedral. There was an event happening there in Belfast, the 120th anniversary of St Anne's Cathedral. Lots and lots of clergy from the Church of Ireland. We had in particular the Archbishop John McDowell present. I believe he was preaching or giving a talk. There was a lot of talk about lots of chairs that had been purchased for the occasion, and they were blessing the chairs. But you know, we brought a much more important issue to the Church of Ireland, which is the ongoing incarceration of Enoch Burke, who is in prison now for almost 400 days. And as you know, and as everyone knows now, the answer to this problem would be if the Church of Ireland did what it should do, if it was true to its ethos, its Christian ethos, male and female, it remains unchanged. But the problem is, of course, that Enoch Burke was working in Wilson's Hospital School. He upheld the ethos, and he was incarcerated, and he's lying today in a prison cell in Mountjoy.
He couldn't affirm transgender ideology,
Yeah.
as he was commanded to by the principal of that school, Niamh McShane. He contacted the bishop, Pat Story, who is there, the patron of the school, to uphold the ethos, to help him, to stand with him.
Yeah.
That's her duty. But the Bishop Pat Story has remained silent to this day. And also we've contacted the Archbishop again and again, John McDougall, and he also is silent. No words will proceed out of their mouths when it comes to Enoch Burke, because Enoch Burke is standing for the ethos of the school, which exalts God's way.
Yes.
Man and woman, male and female, created he them. So we can come to no other conclusion, but they just don't agree with it at all.
Now, there was a separate case this week, just this Wednesday past in Dublin. A guard by the name of Holly Lane was sent to prison. Now, this guard had been initially charged because she was charged with theft of cannabis evidence. She was out of her mind, drunk, on duty in Garda Station.
Banging into walls.
Yes, one of the witnesses said she was banging into walls. Now, this is the guards.
On duty, yeah.
This isn't any person. This is An Garda Síochána. And it was later revealed that she had sent messages to, I believe, a woman that she was in a relationship with, saying that, you know, great, we've got the drugs. So this guard pled not guilty initially. She was sentenced to 9 months, and she appealed to the circuit court, and that's what we heard this week. Members of my family were in court for a separate reason. They heard this case, this appeal.
There were no media in the room.
No. Now, the judge this week reduced the sentence to 3 months. Only 3 months for this. And
She pled guilty.
she pled guilty this time.
She changed her mind. Obviously, she had lied initially, and sadly to say, we're well aware of the guards telling lies under oath.
So
That has been the story of our family. They have lied under oath about us, and that is where we're at as a family. We can go into court, they can slander us, tell lies, they can take up the Bible, and they can swear lies. What was amazing was the treatment, the way that the judge dealt with her. Contrary to the way he deals with Enoch Burke, and the abuse that's hurled at Enoch, and the threats that we'll be removed from the room if we open our mouths. But she was dealt with very leniently.
The judge dealt very leniently with her, and really the reason we're bringing this to you tonight is that a guard who's found drunk, who has stolen drugs from a Garda Station, banging against walls, is given 3 months. And
very sad,
and the leniency.
Very sad when you consider that Ireland has the highest rate of drug-related deaths in Europe. It's a sad city. I've been in Dublin a lot recently. It's a sad city. It's heartbreaking to see young people in their 20s looking like old men and women. It's sad, heartbreaking to see them staggering around the place out of their minds on drugs. This is absolutely heartbreaking, and to see the way that judge dealt with that guard,
He said to her that he said that you still have your best to give to society. He said you are not defined by this crime. This was like a loving mother to her child.
Absolutely,
really.
yes.
And this is what is so stark about this. That on one hand you have Enoch Burke, the treatment of him and his family, and then you have a criminal, a guard who has broken every bit of her oath, drunk in the station,
staggering around the place,
brought disgrace on her profession.
Absolutely,
is treated with this extraordinary leniency. We had also finally the situation in Swinford this week, as you've seen. My sister arrested, charged, convicted in a kangaroo court in Ballina afterwards. And we have the situation there with the guard as well. And just to highlight that, Garda Porrick O'Connor, You'd have seen in that video, and if you haven't, it's available on Enoch Burke's X profile, the circumstances of her arrest. And of course, what we see is Garda Pádraig O'Connor, who is a footballer in Mayo. What he's doing is he's working for Patrick O'Connor, the coroner.
Instructions from him.
He's taking instructions from him. He's walking along. He's being told what to do. That whole situation is a scandal. It's a disgrace. There's more to be said on it.
And
More will be said on it.
It's not being covered by the media, local or national. It's not being covered.
The local media have been silenced. Midwest Radio, the Connacht Telegraph, the Mayo News, the Western People.
CRC
These
FM,
organisations have refused to say a word about this. Now we do have the Daily Mail, covered it extensively. There were one or two national outlets that did cover this story, and that may be why one of the reasons why you've heard about it. The local media are not covering it, and they're not covering it because they're protecting Patrick O'Connor, and they're protecting the guards in Mayo, because anyone who sees that video and sees what happens is shocked and appalled at the state that our country has come to.
Judge Dean working with Pat O'Connor.
Yeah, Judge Vincent Dean. These men know each other. They're close acquaintances.
Yeah.
Both of them sat on I think the Mayo Solicitors Bar Association.
For years.
Vincent Dean, the judge, said that he didn't know where Patrick O'Connor's office is.
He can tell
and
lies.
I can say today, Vincent Dean, you are a liar.
Absolute liar.
And only someone who's not well will believe that you don't know where Patrick O'Connor's office is. So listen, that's the situation. We wanted to give you this update today. Encourage you, especially after you've seen that video from Belfast, to call upon the Church of Ireland to call upon
the situation, yes.
to address the situation, in particular Bishop Pat Story.
Yeah.
Contact this woman and ask her why she's silent on this matter.
And the big issue then, of course, is this week and last week, the judges now want to get Enoch out of prison for the holidays. So I did ask the judge last week, I said, should he be in prison or shouldn't he? He has done nothing wrong. You don't let prisoners out for the holidays. And these judges are attempting to wash their hands. You know, you hear of Pontius Pilate. He took a basin when he had condemned Christ to death on Calvary. He took a basin and he washed his hands. That's what Sanfi and all these other judges are trying to do, to wash their hands, to appear very kind and gentle and gracious. The reality is they have ruined 2 years of Enoch Burke's life. They have refused to guard his constitutional rights. They have thrown him into Mountjoy Prison with murderers and sexual abusers. You can't wash your hands before a holy God. And that's what we stand for today. We stand for our principles, our beliefs, because that protects us from a totalitarian regime, from dictatorship, where the judges are in cahoots with the guards and the government and the executive, all working together. Enoch has a job. He's employed by Wilson's Hospital School. He was taken from that school unjustly, unfairly. His constitutional rights were denied him. And he has a right to be in that school, to be working in that school. He has a right to have his religious belief and to profess it, to practice it. And he has a right to say no when he's commanded by the principal to affirm and promote transgender ideology. And I'm sorry, judges, I know you have agreed together. You've agreed together with the government and sadly the guards and sadly with the church now. The church is silent. And I would ask you listeners to observe that. Why is the church silent? Because it has agreed together to displace God. It's not possible. It can't be done.